just in case you don't know what it is, sex surrogate is a therapy for people with disabilities, or maybe they went through some sort of sexual trauma. It's for people that have issues with being sexual or have never had sex and they would like to have sex. What they say the differences between surrogacy and is and and prostitution is, the way they break it down is prostitution wants your repeat business. Surrogacy is trying to set you up for a long-term relationship. In the beginning of therapy, you're fully clothed, and she may do something like in the beginning, like rub the top of my face for 5 minutes, and then I do the very same thing to her. I would take off my top and like she would massage my chest or whatever. She would take off her top, but then her like for instance her bra may be on. The next couple days the bra's gonna come off, and then I could like we do the sensation focus again, but I could touch the breasts, and then one day like your pants may come off, and then so on and so forth. But then we go towards like masturbation. She masturbated me, and then we would do different stuff like that, and then like work towards the sex. But it's a very much layered.
Wait, so you did have physical
Yes.
sex with her?
Yes.
Oh.
And it didn't necessarily have to go like this, but because I was so nervous, I actually had sex on the very last day of the program, so I didn't get to do it twice. And so that was over a year ago, and man, am I feeling it. But after that process, like, I'm so grateful for what I went through and what I learned, and I'm glad I went through that journey. It taught me to be comfortable with another partner. It taught me that I could pleasure another partner. It taught me that sex is possible for me. And it taught me that everything is going to be okay.
Hey, what's up? Day 2, baby.
Doink.
Were there any significant role models for you?
No, I've had no significant role model at all. I mean, no one really inspires me. It's just I've never had that person in my life where I need to aspire to be like them. It's just I'm confident and outgoing, and I'm my own individual person. Yeah, high school was frustrating to say the least. I was kind of figuring it all out, and I was always saying in the back of my mind, I wonder if I'm ever gonna get married. But it's gonna take someone very special, very understanding, very confident in dating someone like me. So I was talking, I specifically remember talking to Carrie at camp one year, and she said, it will happen. It will happen. It will just take a lot longer. So I went to college, had my college crushes, and dated 2 or 3 women off and on for 4 years or 5 years or whatever, and nothing really went further than making out or anything like that. And so I was really, I had to say in love with this girl from school, from Davis, and she just didn't take it to the next level. And I met Elizabeth like right after I moved to Coronado, and she was still, this woman from college was coming down every couple months, and we were hanging out, and I had to finally call her up and say, I can't have you come down because I met someone else, and she was heartbroken at the time, but I knew it wasn't going anywhere, so I just cut it off, and that's how we got together.
How are ya? Hi guys. Yeah, he'll start talking on the mic.
What does he say?
There's Steve Wampler. He climbed El Capitan. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I had dated a lot. I was 29 when I married Steven, and so I'd had typical dating relationships, and I came from a really healthy set of parents who loved each other a ton and liked each other. They were friends. It was beautiful to be raised like that. And there, never in a billion years would I have thought I would have married Steven. Never. And I couldn't help it. When I met him, all I saw was the chair. No doubt about it. And I just wanted to get away from him because I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I just didn't want to bother because I was in mourning from losing my dad. But as fate would have it, I was just thrown into situations that he was in all the time. It was kind of uncanny. And I liked him. I liked him. We lined up morally. Our values lined up. And I thought that what he thought was funny too. And we aligned on so many levels that all of a sudden it was inevitable. And I went from... I went from liking him as, well, first of all, being a little less awkward and a little less awkward, to liking him, to being really proud of myself all at the same time because I was getting it. I was starting to understand him. And then I just wanted to be around him. Then he was just fun, but it was platonic. And then one night he asked me out. And I had never heard his voice on the phone. And I had just started getting used to his voice in person. And then he called me and he invited me out and to the Dell, a great hotel here in town. And I went from going over there and enjoying the company of a platonic friend to having it somehow not being platonic at all.
It's like you get out of the elevator. You get out of the elevator and then there's like a gate you open and then it stairs down to the pool.
Okay.
So there's a lift, but it's such a pain in the ass to like. I have to go request the key, and then I can't. Once I get the key, I can't even like use it independently because you have to. I'll show you what I mean. What if I like want to go to the jacuzzi?
Yeah. You guys have a jacuzzi?
Yeah, that's pretty tight.
So I have to carry you down the stairs?
Yeah. It'd be a 2-person job.
Yeah, so we'll put the camera. We'll just have it filming and
Let's do it. You good, man?
You could also like put it down on the stairs and just kind of like control bringing. Oh baby! Woo. Welcome. Woo. Killer.
Alright, excuse me.
Yeah, it's just
Real hot.
Can we do the interview in the jacuzzi?
Yeah, my name's Pat, and I'm just.
Growing up in a chair was pretty easy because my mom is a superhero. She was young when I was injured, so she didn't really know what was going on, so she didn't have any concepts of like really what being paralyzed was. She just knew that I was alive and knew that she was gonna be able to have a life with me. So she got me involved in, physical therapy and pool therapy and occupational therapy, like right out the gate, like right away. And I started playing wheelchair sports when I was 4. And, I just never really had an opportunity to feel sorry for myself or to kind of dwell on things that I couldn't do because I was doing everything that I could possibly do. And so it wasn't that big of a deal. And at school, I was the only person in a chair, and I didn't register that was weird or an issue because if I wanted to play kickball, I was gonna play kickball. You know what I mean? I would have to be like, okay, can you kick the ball, and I'm just gonna run, right? Or like Foursquare, I was champion at Foursquare, man. It was just next level. So, yeah, it was pretty smooth. It was pretty smooth as far as, just adapting. That's I think kind of that's the biggest strength that I think I got from like my mom's attitude and just my environment is I learned how to adapt to anything, like any situation you can throw at me, I'll be able to handle it. I'll figure it out. That's the thing I've noticed. I don't think it's necessarily the wheelchair, because if it was the wheelchair, they wouldn't hang out with me at all. You know what I mean? Like, because this thing's with me all the time. But it's the uncertainty of intimacy that scares people. Like they can hang out with me because they see me cruising around in public and they know that I'm like a functioning human being, but like behind closed doors, they don't know what goes down. They don't know how that works, and it scares them.
Do you feel like you reached a level of intimacy faster because your spouse has a disability?
No. No.
No. You know what? One thing that I adore about Steven is that he is chivalrous. And that's just important to me. I was raised by Southern parents, and it's just important to me. And we've raised our boy to be chivalrous too.
I was willing to wait.
He was a gentleman.
I waited 24 years for what's the rush?
Yeah, he was a complete gentleman, and he got it. This is that part of our life, is what it is. Totally fine and normal and normal. but that doesn't mean I knew that it would be. And so it was a non-issue. He and I needed that. I needed that from anybody I was going to be with. I needed him to be a gentleman. I knew that, you know, when we were dating, if he could have opened a door for me, he would have. And I really just like that. I'm just old-fashioned in that way. And so there was something about him being a man about it. He was strong. He was strong, and he was patient, and he didn't just think of himself. He was elegant. And I loved that about him. I loved how he had been raised in that way. He was selfless. He was honorable.
And patient.
Super patient. And he didn't put his needs first. He was incredible. And I just fell in love with all of that in him too. And he never faltered. He never betrayed that. He never, and he raised our boy like that, which melts my heart. He raised our boy like that. His son has watched a really honorable dad, and our son will know how to treat a woman because his dad has always been so great to me. You know? Hi. Aw. It's true, honey. Yeah, it means a lot to us. You're a good egg. That one gotcha. I didn't mean to.
Almost everyone that I've ever met has felt that way. I just didn't. I don't know why. I cannot explain it. I actually worked with disabled people before I was injured, so I just knew I was going to be fine. It was never an issue for me.
It's amazing. Like it didn't affect your confidence or just.
I went from being like a fine, fully, confident, competent, able-bodied person to waking up in hospital and being fine with being a disabled person. I didn't really go through the remorse and the transition that a lot of people go through, and I've got no explanation for it whatsoever. I couldn't tell you why. I was just fine with it.
Your heart is English nails.
Maybe. And it's not like it's easy. You go through all the difficulties of adjusting, but as far as the mental game went, it wasn't even an issue. I just knew it was going to be fine. I'd even taken, before I was injured, I took a kid out surfing because I knew about adaptive surfing before I was injured, and that was an amazing experience, as an able-bodied person. So I just knew that I was going to be having amazing experiences like that as a disabled person. So, and I was not wrong.
Was your first relationship or your first sexual experience with a woman, like back then, did that take like a certain level of like emotional trust or trust within yourself and your body? And
yeah, that's it. That was definitely a significant landmark in my recovery. Like that first intimate relationship. So I was living with a woman when I was injured, and not many relationships survive a spinal cord injury. So, and mine didn't either. So by the time I was out of hospital, that was over. And when I did finally start dating again, the first relationship I was in was, there was a lot of questions, a lot of unanswered questions that I didn't have anyone to ask. I didn't know where to find the information. So you've just got to figure it out. That was actually pretty awesome, figuring it all out and being with someone who was willing to, to figure it out with you, because they don't know, you don't know, they don't know, and you got to, experiment.
Your experience with having a disability gives love a new meaning to you, and do you feel like maybe you appreciate the love that a woman gives you now more so? Because you really have to appreciate the fact that they're willing to, I don't know how this is going to sound, but not make the obvious choice, I mean, this society is very much beauty,
Right.
beauty, beauty,
Yeah.
And
Well, sorry, voice the question again, sorry.
yeah, I want to know how love has changed for you, and does it mean more to you, and do you
Right.
appreciate it more?
No, it hasn't. Love in itself has not changed at all. I think it's still the most important element of a relationship. That's what sustains a relationship. As far as women not making the obvious choice, that is, I've never been hit on more than since I've been in a wheelchair. It's ridiculous. And that was something I had to adjust to. Just bizarre. I don't know what it is. And it's not just me, it's like a lot of my friends who are in wheelchairs, they experience the same thing. It was a dramatic shift in my environment. I don't know how to explain it, but it was, yeah. And all my friends that I knew before, that I still hung around with afterwards, they noticed it right away. They were like, what the hell? So, yeah, I don't know. I just think women are awesome. Thank you, girls.
Maybe it works for them. Maybe, I just try to look the better I could look even before. I try to look the better I could do. For me to say that I am not the wheelchair, I am myself, it doesn't work for me. That doesn't work for me. Because if I have to decide, I of course will not decide for the wheelchair. So, for me, it's what I can, how that person could feel with me, how my friends or dating people could feel with being around with someone. I want to make the share invisible. I guess that's the trick. Make it invisible, I know it's going to be noticed, but let's try not to put that first. And I know, and I have heard, the wheelchair is beautiful. I look great in a wheelchair. Well, maybe it works for you, but for me, reality works more because I was not in a wheelchair. I was in high heels, and I like the high heels thing, and I like the fashion, and I like how people look running, walking, dancing, and I will prefer that. But since I'm in a wheelchair, I will try to look the best I could look now in this situation. So for me, as I told you, I think that's a strategy, trick. No. What I can make you feel. What can I make you feel? What can we talk about? What can we do? What kind of business are you in? What kind of job are you in? Let's see how we can grow together in a different way. I want to know you. I want you to know me, and I want you to know that if this doesn't work out, it's because not of the wheelchair. It's not because of the wheelchair. It's because we are different, or we think different. So that artificial, positive, trying to be so artificial in a positive way, it doesn't work for me.
I like that. I really do.
Yeah.
That was good.
That was great.
Okay. Guys,
You guys are easy.
thank you so much. Give me a hug, man. Really was so touching. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
You guys are rock stars.
No. Thank you for asking.
That's really